All right, good afternoon, YouTube. So it's been a few months. I did a video last time on the Hack the Box CPTS, and now I'm back with another video on a different certification. This one being the Hack the Box Certified Active Directory Pentesting Expert, or CAPE. Right now, my submission is still in review, but I've got all 10 flags, 205-page report uploaded, so now I'm just waiting to hear back. I was gonna wait till after hearing back, but DEF CON is next week, and I wanted to get this video in before then. So, by the way, yes, if you will be at DEF CON, I will definitely see you there. So here I am on the certification landing page. Now, many people claim that CAPE is kind of the sort of senior level successor to the CPTS, and if you look at the description, it even says that. It says it's the next step in advancing AD pen testing beyond the CPTS. So what makes the CAPE certification the expert level cert that it is? Well, I recently had a discussion, or rather I commented on a post that the OP was kind of the senior level recruiter on. I think it was either LinkedIn or Reddit. I'm not entirely sure which, but anyhow, they claim that there were no certification exams out there with more than 10 machines. Well, I've got news for you. CAPE has 12. So yes, there is a certification with more than 10 machines. It's probably the only one that has that, though. In addition to those 12 machines, you also have 4 domains, and yes, you also have a quadruple pivot. So if you thought the CPTS with its dual tunneling was crazy, try doubling the pivoting compared to even that, and then maybe you'll get the picture a little bit. So for starters, the course. You may notice that this first module is quite familiar. That's because this is the only module, in fact, that is common to both the CPTS and CAPE job role paths. When I was done with the CPTS, I was maybe 14% of the way through the CAPE track. After that, you've got a lot to learn from there. So for starters here, we have raw LDAP queries, we have Power View, Bloodhound, lateral. Now, this Windows lateral movement module is really the first part where you really delve into a lot of things. You're dealing with Mesh Central, WSUS, whole bunch of stuff there. You also deal with, I used NetExec for all of this because that is the maintained fork of CME, but same thing applies here. If there's one place where you want to pay attention here for Kerberos. Because for a tip, pay attention here, as InfoSec Pat would say, because this is one of the keys. You also have 2 mini modules on ACLs, which are big deal too. NTLM Relay, I would also pay attention here too. Same thing with ADCS. Trusts, you'd be surprised how there's a lot of ways that you can break down cross-forest trusts. It's quite surprising. C2 ops, this will definitely help. At least it did for some people. I can't say for myself because, well, again, you'll have to take the exam and find out. Evasion, same thing. Yes, you will be tested on this. You're also going to be tested on this module as well. You really need to comprehend all of this. So about that evasion module, I do have an attack machine update to make. So even though this machine had Linux on it during my last video, it was wiped clean. It originally had Windows, and as you can see, I'm using Microsoft Edge here, and I do have Windows back on it, and that's because of this evasion module. This is actually an exploit development module. You notice I've got Visual Studio pinned to the taskbar. When you start evading antivirus, you really need to know how to write your own exploits in order to bypass everything, because I mean, every time you create a bypass and release it, they release a antivirus update. You got to do the whole thing all over again. So this is not like your typical script kiddie OSCP type, run a script and go. This is, you've got to do stuff. It's not all Windows, though. You notice I have WSL here with a Parrot OS instance. This is how I approach the exam this time, using this WSL container, is where I did most of the Linux commands in general. I also have the Windows version of Hashcat on this because, again, GPU power. but you get the gist. Now, the full name, Certified Active Directory Pentesting Expert, that actually does give a hint that there's some things that are out of scope here. Obviously, you're not attacking any web apps, so that is one difference. Obviously, the CWEE is for that, although according to Hack the Box, the CWEE is to the CBBH what the CAPE is to the CPTS, at least according to their descriptions. Now, there may be a few nuances to that, but you get the idea. Anyhow, whereas CPTS, you had some web and then you pivoted from web into Active Directory, not here. You're starting with Active Directory. It's all AD from start to finish, and you're going through all of the advanced attacks, really, that the CAPE job role path covers. Just about all of them. And you'll see when you take the exam, I don't want to spoil anything for obvious reasons. When you take the exam, you'll know that paying attention in the coursework is really important. I had to learn that the hard way the first time around. It took me 2 tries, just like with CPTS. Second time's the charm. Again, just waiting to hear back. So when you're done with CAPE, you're going to get pretty much all the same digital perks that you get with the CPTS. You'll get the badge on Credly that you can verify with Upwork. You'll get the downloadable certification PDF. They don't, however, have a physical certification package released for CAPE yet, I don't think. Correct me if I'm wrong. This may be... last I heard was several months ago, but hopefully when I get this certification results back, I'll know more. And hopefully, if not, maybe later this fall or next year. But certification is not even a year old at this point. It's brand new, which is why also you're not seeing it show up in as many job descriptions as it should. But that's likely going to change as more people know about it and more people see this video. So make sure to show this video to as many of your HR people that you know as you can, because yeah, they're going to need to know about it. So earlier in the video, you may have noticed that I mentioned that there were 12 machines, but only 10 flags. Yes, there are 2 machines that don't have any flags on them, but you're going to have to take the exam to find out why that is. I'm not going to give away any spoilers, so there's that. One thing I am going to offer, however, is some general tips and tricks. So number 1, the deeper you go, the more information you have to gather, the more outside the box you have to think. I learned this the hard way the first time around, and the second time I really took that to the bank. You're going to find there are times as you go deeper in when you have more privileges than you think you have. And that's going to actually, when you finally realize that, is when you realize, oh, this was easier than I thought. When you finally, there are times during the exam environment when I was like, could have had a V8. It was like when I finally figured it out, it was quite embarrassing. But, and so as you go through, try to be very thorough with your methodology. That was one thing I had to learn the hard way. Another thing I had to learn the hard way the first time around is always make sure that you thoroughly cover all bases. I had to learn that the hard way the first time around again. When I finally, on that second try, that hard lesson, I learned from it, and again, it paid off because I've now got all 10 flags and 205-page report waiting to be graded. In my previous video, the one on CPTS, some of you may have noticed that I had the then blank CAPE report template open in one of my tabs. I was actually using the Sysreptor template to take notes on the modules. That really helped because I had all that information when I went to take the exam. Just go to the notes tab, all the module notes were there. That helps a lot as well. So what's next as far as certs after CAPE? Well, I do plan to transfer from Saddleback College to Cal State Fullerton in the fall of 2026. So not this fall, but the fall after. I kind of need to focus on that because I'm going to have 4 classes next semester, 4 classes the semester after. So I've got to try to really focus on getting that schoolwork done. After I transfer and I have more time on my hands in Fullerton, that's when I plan to do either the CRTO, MalDev Academy, or both, because the evasion portion of this exam. I really found that to be the most fun, trying to work circles around Windows Defender. Can't wait to take that to the next level, possibly even work circles around other more advanced antivirus/EDR solutions. So that's kind of where I want to go with this, is towards a more red team stealth type route. Can't wait to see how that plays out. In the meantime, of course, I'm just waiting to hear back from Hack the Box. So yeah, let's do this. So while I'm waiting for this report to be graded, what am I going to be doing? Well, I am going to be at DEF CON, and I can't wait to meet you there if you're going to be there. I will be flying out of Southwest Flight 2459 out of John Wayne Airport next Wednesday. I'm going to be flying there. I'm going to be leaving at 11:50, arriving at Harry Reid at 1:05. I'm going to be lining up for LineCon. If I heard it, the LineCon actually starts late that night, so I'm going to try to get online as early as possible to get in the Red Team Village. I'm also going to be, I actually got a ticket for Tyler Ramsby. He has a kind of a meetup at one of the bars in the area. That I got the ticket for actually before I started this second Cape attempt, so I will be there too. Can't wait to meet to see who else is going to be there with me. Yeah, this should be fun. Also, I will be live streaming from LineCon, so feel free to check in with that if you haven't already. Subscribe, click the bell to allow notifications so you get notified of that live stream. And yeah, can't wait to see how this goes.